Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's so wonderful to know that we're being joined by people from around the world right now. So, welcome if you're just getting on. And thank you for getting on the line at maybe the end of your day or the beginning of your day or somewhere in between. But we so appreciate you being here. And at Women's Earth Alliance, we often say that when we gather, each time we gather, the world changes. And I love that notion, just to think about the moment you might not know, but that changes the course of your life, a little nugget you learn, a connection you make. And even though we miss our hugs, and we do miss our hugs, these virtual gatherings can be such an important way to stay in community with each other, to continue to learn about each other's struggles and wins, and to build the bridges that we so very need right now on the planet. So my name's Melinda Kramer. I am the co-founder and co-director of Women's Earth Alliance, and I am joined by a global team of leaders from around the world who really prove every day our theory of change, that when women thrive, the earth thrives. So today's event is in partnership with Conservation International and sponsored by Verizon. And for anyone on the call from the Verizon Volunteer Network, we want to give you a special warm welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So just a little background about Women's Earth Alliance. We're known as WEA, and we train, resource, and catalyze grassroots women's networks to protect our environment and to build healthy, safe, and thriving communities now and into the future. And after 15 years, WEA leaders from around the world are out there saving seeds, selling clean cook stoves, launching sustainable farms, providing safe water, protecting land rights, the list goes on. But this global work around the world started very small. It started with one circle in 2006 in Mexico City, when 30 women environmental leaders from 26 countries, old and young, working on an array of environmental and climate issues, came together to create an organization to fill a needed gap and to address the undeniable fact that women are central to every environmental and climate issue on our planet. And yet women are also cut off from the resources and the visibility and the networks that we need to lead. And we knew we needed to design an initiative that had investing in women's leadership as the core strategy. And we knew this because of our lived experiences. We knew this because we saw it happening in our communities. We saw that when women's empowerment is centered, it creates a tipping point for long-term ecological and social change. And that's more than top-down decisions, more than development projects that have been imposed from the outside. That when we see women's community-based leadership rising, that can be the main driver of the lasting transformation that we need on this planet, and the issues that we all care about and want to help solve. And so together, that small circle built a blueprint for WEA that has grown. That circle has multiplied around the world many, many times. So this event is part of WEA's World Weaver Salon Series. And especially at a time when it is hard to be in person, we have loved convening these virtual events this year. Throughout the year, we've been showcasing very kind of practical and hands-on skills and solutions that we can all enact in our homes and in our communities. We learned from environmental leader Didi Del Maris how to change policies in our cities that contribute to coal burning pollution. We learned from sustainable farmer Audrea Evelyn how to ferment and pickle foods in our own kitchens to create food security. And most recently, we learned from agroecologist Kendall Dunningen how to create what we call black gold composting systems using vermiculture. And yes, that is worms. So tonight's event focuses on the Indonesia Women's Earth Alliance Accelerator. And this program has been incredible, launching just 2 years ago and led by our Indonesia design team, several of whom you will meet tonight. And this work has accelerated the critical environmental solutions of over 50 grassroots women leaders from 20 out of the 32 regions of Indonesia. These leaders are incredible. They are working on protecting our forests from destruction. They are reviving coral reefs. They are modeling regenerative farming. They are doing indigenous land conservation and so much more. And there is no shortage of these leaders. Every year we're overwhelmed by the number of applications. And we are so excited that we already have our spring 2021 cohort selected. And so this year has been an incredible year. We are so glad to have partnered with Conservation International. And as you will hear from our partner, Kame Westerman from Conservation International, we have worked together to co-develop the Indigenous Conservation Track, which you will hear more about. And so now I'd like to introduce you to our host for today's event, Farwiza Farhan, who has been a member of the WIA design team in Indonesia for 2 years, and she's also a member of our leadership board. Farwiza is a force. Farwiza has dedicated her life to protecting the Lozer ecosystem and making this a place that not only is critical for people living in the Lozer ecosystem and for the animals and all of the life existing there, but she has made this a place that we can all get to know, that we can come to love and learn how to protect. Some of you may know her from being featured in Leonardo DiCaprio's documentary, Before the Flood. And Farwiza is a leader is the leader of Forest, Nature, and Environment, Aceh, HaKA, which protects the Lozer ecosystem in Sumatra. And by empowering communities, taking legal action, and mobilizing creative, brilliant, local, national, and global campaigns, Farwiza and her team have really made things happen. They are helping to pave the way for sustainable development for their people and for this community. And Farwiza's impact just continues to ripple out. She was recognized in 2016 for the Whitley Award, and we're just so honored to get to partner with you, Farwiza. So I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melinda. And every time I come into the WIA space, I've always felt supported, enlightened, and loved. And this is the kind of space that we often don't get or don't feel when we work in conservation, because the challenge is often so great. So thank you so much for such an introduction. Hi, everyone. Good morning for those who are in the west part of Indonesia and almost halfway through the day, eastern part, and probably good evening for the rest of you on the other side of the globe from us. I'm greeting you from Aceh and Sumatra.
Cookie.
And sitting, and on my background is the landscape that Melinda mentioned, the Lozer ecosystem. Now, Indonesia as a country sits across massive archipelago, thousands of islands. But we also know that there is 5 major islands in Indonesia. Indonesia has so much biodiversity, but it's also a fragile landscape and fragile ecosystem that is threatened by deforestation, large-scale deforestation. For countries like Indonesia, protecting land and forests are key to mitigate the negative impact of climate change. And who would be best to protect this land and forests if not the indigenous leaders? We have an opportunity to present the women, the indigenous women who push forward the conservation in their homeland. So for the next hour, we would get to meet the leaders, the indigenous leaders, and we will also be having time to get to know each other. So I'm gonna go over that very quickly. The first part of the call We would have an overview of the context in Indonesia and the woman that is within the Indigenous Conservation track. And we would be meeting the Conservation International, represented by Kim Westerman. And we would meet the Indigenous conservationists. Then, on the second part of the call, we would move towards Q&A. So if you have questions for this moment, you can begin to pile them up now in your pocket, or you could put them in the chat box. In addition to that, I would like to introduce our amazing translator for this call. Irma Sitompul is Indonesia, the program director for Women Earth Alliance Indonesia program. And Sani Amalia, can we have a spotlight for Irma quickly? And Sani Amalia is the communications manager for WIA Indonesia program. And Sani, please. Hi. So now I'm going to give the floor to Kim Westerman from Conservation International.
Thank you so much, Wiza. It's really an honor to be welcomed into the WIA family. So thank you. I agree with everything you just said about it being such a warm and welcoming environment. So thank you very much. So just to give a really quick background, I don't want to spend too much time on Conservation International. This night is about these amazing women. But CI is a large global conservation organization. We work in 29 different countries to protect the nature that we all need. But within that, we really recognize the critical importance of Indigenous communities as being, these incredibly important stewards of the land and of that nature, and in particular, Indigenous women. And that's why in the program that I oversee, gender and women's empowerment within the institution, we have a very strong focus on supporting and uplifting Indigenous women, especially in the context of conservation leadership. And we really, our focus is really to ensure that women's ecological knowledge, their natural resource use, and the conservation concerns that they have are effectively integrated and reflected in decision-making, and to make sure that women are actually at that decision-making table. We think that's very important. So traditionally, a lot of our efforts around Indigenous women's leadership and empowerment in conservation have focused on individual fellowships or working with Indigenous organizations to support and strengthen their gender work. But earlier this year, COVID swept the world and everything was sort of turned on its head, and we had to shift our focus. Many of our fellows couldn't operate anymore in the places that they worked, and many of our Indigenous partners had to stop. And so it was in a very opportune time that we also came into contact with WIA, became acquainted with the work that WIA does and this Accelerator program. And this opportunity to partner to focus specifically on Indigenous women's leadership in Indonesia became a really attractive and just a great opportunity for us. And, over this last, what has it been, 6 months or so, I've been incredibly impressed by how nimble and creative the team has been in shifting everything to online. And I think it's just such a great example of how we can continue to support and uplift and strengthen women's leadership, even during a global pandemic. So I think that just, hats off to the WIA team, and huge kudos to all of the women that are in the cohort. You've done an amazing job in such a difficult time. So obviously, you're going to hear from many of these women tonight. I'm not going to take up any more time, but thank you so much for this opportunity. And Conservation International is just so proud of everything you've done, and I really look forward to hearing more tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kame. So Kame is the Director of Social Safeguard and Senior Gender Advisor for Conservation International. This year program on Conservation Indigenous track is unique and new. Last year, we don't have this, but this year, thanks to support from our partner from Conservation International, we could start highlighting and supporting more Indigenous women leader who is doing great work in conservation. And we hope this is a partnership that would continue for years to come. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you we would be splitting the cohorts of this year into 3 time zones, the western part, the central part, and the eastern part of Indonesia, because as a country, this is such a massive landscape. So first of all, welcome the woman from the western part of Indonesia. There will be a video.
Used to decline due to of
Ellena Yusti from Aceh, Indonesia. I'm an independent researcher affiliated with the Collaboration Research Center 990. I'm the manager of Environmental and Biodiversity Program in Natural Aceh, focusing on the environmental education service.
I personally have a great enthusiasm to study and understand the diversity of bats and its function in the ecosystem. The ecosystem services provided by bats are very essential for human life. Bats act as pollinators for hundreds of plant species, seed dispersers, and control the agricultural insect pests. The bats population continues to decline due to high rates
Mom,
of
can you do me a favor?
deforestation, land use
Can you hand me
change,
my
cave
food that's in the
exploitation,
refrigerator?
and illegal hunting. This is a serious threat not only for bats themselves, but also affecting human well-being. I have been actively involved in CRC 990, the International Collaboration Research Project focusing on Sumatra lowland tropical rainforest. Specifically, I studied the diversity of bats in various types of land use and developed a new bat observation methods. In addition, I collaborate with the Natural Aceh in carrying out environmental-based programs such as biodiversity education, action to plant mangrove and trees by empowering women communities in coastal areas, women with disabilities, and other communities. I do really hope that my dedication in bat research and the collective action with the local communities can contribute toward a more sustainable environmental policies, especially in bat conservation. Moreover, I personally convinced that Women Earth Alliance program would have positive long-term impact for our environmental education and learning process. Every small action counts. Let us share the facts and information about bats, make donations and campaigns to preserve our forest ecosystem, and implementing go green and sustainable consumption. As a woman, let us imagine we carry and breastfeed our children, look for food, disperse the seed trees in the forest while flying at high speed. Everything was done at the same time during the night. When we are sleeping, bats build our forest and our mangrove ecosystem. I really don't think we can manage to do that as good as bats. So they are amazing, right?
Perkenalkan, nama saya Nofri Yani. Saya tinggal dan menetap di Kota Padang, Sumatera Barat. Sebelumnya, saya pernah bertugas sebagai animal keeper di Pusat Rehabilitasi milik Center for Orangutan Protection, KOP Borneo, di Berau, Kalimantan Timur. Sebagai representatif officer dari Center for Orangutan Protection untuk wilayah Sumatera, saya giat melakukan advokasi untuk perlindungan orangutan, harimau Sumatera, dan habitat mereka di Sumatera. Sejak tahun 2018, saya memulai gerakan kampanye konservasi berbasis kearifan lokal dengan hashtag Harimau Adalah Minang untuk perlindungan harimau Sumatera di Sumatera Barat. Saya menginisiasi ini menyusul kian meningkatnya eskalasi konflik antara manusia dengan harimau di Sumatera Barat karena terganggunya kawasan yang jadi habitat mereka akibat alih fungsi lahan. Sementara masyarakat adat Minangkabau memiliki kepercayaan kalau harimau itu adalah jelmaan leluhur mereka. Lewat inisiatif ini, saya akan melakukan riset dengan menjaring pengetahuan lokal masyarakat Minangkabau terkait perlindungan harimau untuk kemudian saya dokumentasikan dan dijadikan referensi untuk dijadikan kebijakan di pemerintahan lokal terhadap pengelolaan kawasan sumber daya alam mereka. Tentu banyak sekali pengetahuan baru yang saya dapatkan untuk lebih mematangkan inisiatif saya ini. Saya memperoleh banyak sekali sumber daya baru untuk membuat proyek saya menjadi lebih sempurna diimplementasikan di masyarakat. Tentu saya masih membutuhkan banyak dukungan dari komunitas global supaya apa yang saya inisiasi ini berhasil. Salah satunya tentu saja pendanaan. Selain itu, saya juga membutuhkan dukungan global untuk sama-sama melakukan perubahan terhadap perilaku untuk mengurangi kerentanan terhadap harimau Sumatera. Harimau membutuhkan landscape yang sangat luas untuk mereka bisa hidup. Jadi apabila kita melindungi harimau, sebenarnya secara otomatis itu yang kita lindungi adalah landscape atau bentang alam yang sangat luas. Yang arti kata, kita sebenarnya setengah melindungi kehidupan kita dengan melindungi kawasan hutan yang menjadi habitat dari harimau Sumatera.
Hi everybody, I am Nofri Yani from West Sumatra, Indonesia. I co-founded Cahaya Maritim Foundation on 2015. Our organization focused to advocate local community by raising awareness about social issues and natural resource management. On 2019, I participate on a fellowship that organized by the Indigenous Partnership for Agrobiodiversity and Food Sovereignty. I studied about Minangkabau food system, then I present the key findings on FAO meeting in Rome. Minangkabau community is the largest matriarchal society in the world, which means the people principle are equality between men and women. We share responsibilities and respecting each other. As naturally, women are the keepers of food security because women are the custodians of natural resources in community. Today, our farmers practice modern farming. They use hybrid seed and too much chemical input. They're facing less knowledge transfer from elders to the youth, and they are in the uncontrolled modernization. They challenge by youth migration from rural to urban area. Since I joined with Women Earth Alliance Indonesia Grassroots Accelerator 2020, I have better understanding about women challenge in conservation area. I will continue and active collaborate with the women in this circle. Where truly motivated me. I believe my strategic plan will create big impact and sustain. For sure, you can support me with some project grant. Conserving Minangkabau traditional value on living in harmony with the nature. This project will contributing to sustainable development goals. I will encourage indigenous youth from the other community so we can achieve better future for us in Indonesia together. Thank you, Conservation International.
Thank you for the playing the introductory video, Sunny. I would like to invite, there is one more video from our cohorts from western part of Indonesia. Please meet video from Kak Suraya. The video would be in Bahasa Indonesia and there will be translation on the chat box.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Suraya Kamarizaman. Saya dari Aceh, Indonesia. Saya adalah salah satu presidium Balai Syura Urang Inong Aceh, sebuah jaringan organisasi perempuan yang memiliki 15 simpul di 15 kabupaten kota di Aceh dan beranggotakan sekitar 200 organisasi perempuan sampai ke tingkat komunitas. Balai Syura memiliki concern untuk upaya pemenuhan hak perempuan dan mendorong keadilan gender di segala aspek di Aceh. Salah satu hal yang menjadi concern kami adalah bagaimana mendorong untuk memastikan perempuan memiliki akses, kontrol, partisipasi dan menerima manfaat dalam pengelolaan lingkungan yang berkelanjutan. Diharapkan dengan keterlibatan perempuan secara adil, maka lingkungan akan terjaga lebih baik, keberagaman hewan, tanaman masih tetap terjaga, alam tetap bersih, oksigen masih tetap terjaga dengan baik, dan juga akan semakin bertambah jumlah burung-burung yang bermigrasi dalam proses perjalanan antar benua ketika terjadi perubahan iklim.
Salah satu yang saya lakukan bersama tim Balai Syura adalah memastikan keterlibatan perempuan dan kelompok rentan lainnya dalam upaya pelindungan lanskap pesangan jambu aye, di mana salah satu isu strategisnya adalah pengelolaan hutan lestari di kawasan mangrove. Ini merupakan hal penting bagi lingkungan dan organisme lainnya karena bernilai ekologis dan juga ekonomis. Pelibatan perempuan kami mulai dengan melakukan pemberdayaan melalui diskusi, workshop, dan training tentang pentingnya pengelolaan mangrove serta penguatan leadership dan public speaking bagi perempuan. Kami juga mendorong upaya pengembangan ekonomi kreatif berbasis sumber daya alam yang ada di hutan mangrove dan kayu. Berikutnya kami juga akan advokasi untuk pembuatan kanun desa untuk pengelolaan hutan mangrove di mana perempuan akhirnya bisa terlibat dalam struktur kepengurusan dan terlibat dalam proses pengambilan keputusan. Di level provinsi, saya bersama tim Balai Syura melakukan advokasi untuk kebijakan pembangunan di bidang lingkungan yang responsif gender dan inklusi melalui Dinas Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan menjadi peraturan gubernur. Program akselerasi ini memperkaya pengetahuan saya tentang pengelolaan lingkungan dengan pendekatan sistem yang menyeluruh. Saya juga merasa mendapat energi baru untuk melanjutkan kerja-kerja ke depan dan menambah jaringan yang luar biasa kaya. Harapannya ke depan dengan adanya jaringan ini akan semakin terbantu dalam proses kampanye dan sumber dana untuk pelindungan hutan lestari yang responsif, gender, dan inklusi. Bagi saya, mangrove sangat penting karena kita tahu mangrove menyimpan karbon 5 kali lebih banyak, merendam gelombang besar termasuk tsunami, dan tempat habitat dan naungan lebih dari 100 jenis ikan. Terima kasih banyak untuk Women Earth Alliance.
Thank you, Sunny. Can we have a round of applause to these 4 amazing women? Woo! And I would like to invite Ellena, Nofri, and Kak Suraya to turn on your camera and wave to everybody so we can meet you.
Bye.
How uplifted is everyone feeling? Are you ready to meet the second batch of women from Central Indonesia? Sunny will be playing the video, and hopefully you could enjoy the next round of information too.
Hi everyone, my name is Pratiwi. I'm from Central Kalimantan, Indonesia, and my program is a social enterprise called Central Borneo Guide. It's an ecotourism activities. The problem is actually it's a huge deforestation happened since 1919 in Central Kalimantan, and it changed to be palm oil plantation, and it also affect to the local community, especially for the culture and the social. And then I'm here not to be a troublemaker. I try to be solve the problem. My work is I engage with the local community, and I'm indigenous people as well of Dayak. So I try to give an opportunity for the local community how we can create a job without harming natural resources. After I did acceleration from Women Earth Alliance, it helped me to increase my knowledge very well about conservation and also how to make a good program, especially for the conservation and then community development in the future. So I can adapt in Central Kalimantan for sure. I would like to the people around the world hold hands each other and then support the local indigenous people, especially in Borneo Island. I think most of people don't really know about Dayak people or maybe Dayak tribe. Most of them maybe know about rainforest only in Amazon, but actually Borneo is a rainforest as well. But I think I need to more promoting and then put Dayak culture on the stage and then let them people know what is our problem and then what is our motivation to do conservation in our land. It's a lot of flora or maybe fauna that I want to preserve, but I'm really interested with bajaka. It's a kind of roots, it's a big roots, and then growing up in a pit swamp forest, and sometimes local Dayak community drink the water from the roots, and it's really helpful for the local community as a traditional medicines. So I think I want to preserve that. Maybe in the future it's really good we can observe and maybe to be a good medicines for all the people can consume it.
Hai, saya Suimah dari Yayasan Ulin yang berada di Provinsi Kalimantan Timur, Indonesia. Saat ini saya menjadi ketua Yayasan Ulin. Yayasan Ulin adalah lembaga yang saat ini melakukan kegiatan pelestarian untuk habitat mesangat, di mana mesangat adalah merupakan wetland yang di dalamnya terdapat dua jenis buaya yang hidup bersama, yaitu Crocodylus siamensis dan Thomistomas cleglii. Yang kami lakukan saat ini yaitu melakukan pengelolaan secara bersama dengan multi stakeholder, di mana kita coba untuk mendorong adanya KEE, kawasan ekosistem esensial, yang di dalamnya sangat disayangkan jika tidak dilakukan pengelolaan secara kolaboratif, di mana mesangat merupakan habitat yang sangat kaya akan biodiversity. Dari masalah yang terjadi, kami mencoba dengan beberapa hal. Yang pertama yaitu pengelolaan kolaboratif, di mana saat ini kami telah melakukan pendorongan menjadi kawasan ekosistem esensial mesangat. Yang kedua yaitu kegiatan kolaborasi dengan institusi perguruan tinggi, di mana di dalamnya kita bisa melakukan riset-riset dari masalah yang terjadi di mesangat. Selain itu, kami juga tetap melakukan kegiatan survei dan monitoring dari spesies-spesies yang kita jumpai di lahan basah mesangat. Dalam strategic planning yang WIA berikan sangat simpel dan sangat mudah untuk dimengerti dan dilaksanakan. Melalui ini, kami berharap kami mendapatkan dukungan pendanaan dan juga dukungan tenaga ataupun volunteer untuk melakukan kegiatan awareness ataupun kegiatan penyadaran lainnya di lapangan. Mesangat adalah lahan basah yang sangat unik, di mana di dalamnya terdapat danau, sungai, hutan rawa, dan rawa yang menjadi satu. Mesangat memiliki biodiversity yang sangat tinggi, di mana kita bisa menjumpai 99 ekor burung di sana. Kemudian kita bisa menjumpai 25 mamalia, dan kita bisa menjumpai herpet sejumlah 29, dan di antaranya terdapat 40 jenis yang dalam RTE atau hampir punah, di mana di antaranya yaitu beruang madu, buaya siam, buaya supit, kucing tandang, kemudian stormstock, kemudian kita juga bisa menjumpai orang utan di sekitar dari mesangat. Demikian yang saya sampaikan. Terima kasih. Salam dari Kalimantan Timur, Indonesia.
Halo semuanya, apa kabar? Perkenalkan saya Erni, saya dari Makassar, Sulawesi Selatan. Saat ini saya bekerja dengan jurnal Celebes yang merupakan lembaga lokal yang ada di Sulawesi Selatan, Indonesia yang fokus pada isu-isu lingkungan. Dan saat ini kami fokus pada isu SPLK atau Sistem Verifikasi Legalitas Kayu untuk mendukung program pemerintah dalam upaya untuk mengurangi laju kerusakan hutan yang disebabkan oleh illegal logging dan juga perdagangan kayu ilegal. Dan kami berupaya melakukan penguatan masyarakat adat dan juga masyarakat lokal yang tinggal baik di dalam hutan maupun di sekitar hutan, karena kami sadar betul bahwa mereka lah yang paling tahu kondisi hutan. Mereka juga memiliki bukan saja hubungan sosial ekonomi, tetapi juga hubungan spiritual yang sangat dalam dengan hutan. Mereka memiliki aturan adat, mereka memiliki sanksi adat yang dipatuhi untuk menjaga kelestarian hutan, dan itu terbukti efektif untuk menjaga kelestarian hutan tersebut. Dan setelah bergabung dengan program ini meningkatkan kepercayaan diri saya untuk lebih aktif lagi di dalam menjalankan kerja-kerja saya, karena saya bertemu dengan perempuan-perempuan hebat dari seluruh Indonesia yang memiliki visi dan visi yang sama, dan tentu saja kepedulian yang sama terhadap kelestarian bumi dan juga kelestarian alam. Dan ini sangat berpengaruh positif kepada diri saya untuk meningkatkan potensi saya, untuk mengeluarkan potensi saya agar dapat bekerja dengan lebih baik. Dan dengan bergabung dengan komunitas global, ini sesuatu yang sangat luar biasa, karena saya dapat men-share hal-hal terkait program yang saya kerjakan bersama teman-teman saya di Jurnal Celebes dalam upaya untuk melakukan penyadaran, dalam upaya untuk melakukan penyebarluasan informasi terkait kondisi hutan dan juga perdagangan kayu di Indonesia. Dan kami berharap kami akan mendapatkan dukungan, baik itu dukungan semangat dan juga tentu saja dukungan pendanaan untuk mendukung kerja-kerja agar pekerjaan kami lebih baik lagi ke depannya. Dan karena ini sangat penting, karena dengan melindungi hutan berarti kita juga melindungi flora dan fauna, terutama di Sulawesi Selatan sangat banyak flora dan fauna yang terancam punah, misalnya anoa, tarsius, elang Sulawesi dan sebagainya. Dan juga dengan menjaga hutan berarti kita juga menjaga masyarakat adat, dan itu berarti kita melestarikan adat budaya leluhur kami. Demikian. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, ladies. And another round of big applause, please, for Yun, Suima, and Ernie for their great work. And the thing that I love so much about WIA and strengthening the leaders from the grassroots is they do nothing for us without us. The leadership is always on the ground, and leadership is always on the grassroots. And for that, I would like to invite the introduction video from our leaders from Papua. Please, Sunny.
Halo sister, nama saya Waldine Prasedesmeak, biasa dipanggil Vero. Saya adalah founder dari Perempuan Kelomang Fak-Fak Papua Barat. Saya bersama Perempuan Kelomang melakukan identifikasi potensi sumber daya berkelanjutan yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh masyarakat di 9 kampung yang hidup di daerah ekosistem bakau. Permasalahan yang saya hadapi dan saya dan Perempuan Kelomang hadapi yaitu tingkat kerentanan lingkungan akibat rusaknya ekosistem bakau yang dapat berakibat pada hilang sumber-sumber penghasilan masyarakat dan meningkatkan risiko dampak dari bencana alam. Cara kami memecahkan permasalahan tersebut dengan cara melakukan sosialisasi kegiatan penghidupan masyarakat lokal kepada masyarakat dan pemerintah kampung di 9 kampung di distrik Fak-Fak Tengah. Setelah ada program mengakselerasi warga masyarakat memiliki kesadaran tentang manfaat hutan mangrove bagi kehidupan ekonomi keluarga mereka. Yang saya butuhkan dari komunitas global adalah kita bersama-sama melakukan kampanye kepada semua pihak tentang manfaat mangrove bagi kehidupan manusia. Hal menarik yang mendorong kami untuk melakukan pelestarian terhadap kawasan hutan mangrove yaitu terdapat beberapa jenis tanaman mangrove, spesies ikan, serta burung, serta sebagai penyangga dari abrasi air laut yang bagi 6 kampung yang berada di kawasan mangrove tersebut. Sekian, terima kasih.
Halo, perkenalkan nama saya Adolfina Kum. Saya berdomisili di Timika, Papua. Saya pendiri komunitas peduli lingkungan atau LPMAWI. LPMAWI itu Lembaga Peduli Masyarakat Wilayah Mimika Timur Jauh. Alasan saya dengan teman-teman saya mendirikan komunitas peduli lingkungan karena ada suara-suara dari mama korban yang sempat sampai di kami, dan pada bulan Desember tahun 2013 kami ke kampung dan banyak keluhan aspirasi dari masyarakat yang kami dengar, sehingga kami berpikir untuk bagaimana kami membentuk suatu komunitas atau organisasi yang mewadahi persoalan terkait dengan aspirasi daripada masyarakat. 8 bulan kami melakukan riset dan sosialisasi ke masyarakat dan merampung aspirasi. Ada 6 tuntutan masyarakat di kampung, yang 23 kampung tadi 3 distrik, Mimika Timur Jauh, Agimuga dengan Jita. Jadi persoalan yang terjadi, masalah-masalah yang terjadi di wilayah pesisir Mimika di bawah itu adanya banyak kecelakaan laut, akses sungai yang terisolasi, akses layanan publik untuk memenuhi kesehatan, pendidikan, perekonomian masyarakat, jalur perdagangan, budaya yang hilang, pohon-pohon yang mengering, ikan yang mati mendadak, pulau-pulau yang terancam punah. Di mana kami ketemu ada beberapa kasus bahwa ada fokus saya dan teman-teman kami itu melakukan advokasi, riset, kampanye, mediasi atau lobby, dan pendokumentasian dengan sosialisasi. Yang berbeda hari ini setelah saya mengikuti program akselerasi terhadap komunitas saya itu, di situ saya bertemu dengan pimpinan-pimpinan perempuan akar rumput di seluruh Indonesia yang terhubung juga ke internasional. Terus mengenai elemen-elemen kompas ya, saya mengenali gaya kepemimpinan saya. Saya ini gaya kepemimpinan saya unsur yang mana, ini sangat membantu. Yang kami butuhkan, saya dan teman-teman komunitas LPMAWI butuhkan hari ini dengan teman-teman komunitas di global itu adalah pendanaan untuk membiayai program kami ke depan. Dan juga kami perlu pengembangan kapasitas ya dalam kepemimpinan dan juga anggota. Yang kami jaga hari ini adalah suku pesisir, Kamoro atau Sempan tadi mempunyai budaya 3S, sagu, sampan, sungai. Ini yang kami jaga karena suku pesisir, masyarakat yang hidup di wilayah pesisir tidak bisa hidup tanpa perahu, tidak bisa hidup tanpa sungai. Di dalam sungai itu ada udang, kepiting, terus ada ekosistem laut yang mereka di situ tempat mencari makan mereka. Kehidupan mereka tidak bisa lepas dari sagu, sampan, sungai. Kami menjaga itu, jangan sampai budaya-budaya ini hilang.
Again. Why am I keep muting and unmuting? Again, a giant round of applause for Adolfina and Vero.
Terima kasih, Pak. Bisa, makasih.
You're welcome. And I would like to invite everyone from this year Conservation Indigenous cohorts to turn on your video and give one wave to the camera so we can see again who you are. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. How do you feel? How does everyone feeling about this video? I personally felt so uplifted. And I think one of the most incredible thing that probably a feeling shared across the board is what Ernie mentioned. This program make everyone feel more confident and feel that they know their leadership style better. Now, I would like to invite you to ask questions for this moment. I personally have a lot that I want to get to know better out of these female leaders, but I've get to know them throughout this period for the past 4 months, but you haven't. So today is your opportunity to get to know them better.
Farwiza, Chris Thompson has a question. Chris, would you like to unmute and ask?
There we go. Yeah. First, I mean, you are all amazing. It's just every single time I'm at a WIA event, I am just so amazed at the incredible people who are around the world. So I just thank you all for what you do, and to all of you WIA supporters and everybody for everything that you do. But Nofri, I just was kind of curious because you come from the largest matriarchal society in the world. So I'd love to hear from you a little bit about how this is unique and how it has really sort of positioned you to be in a leadership position.
Nofri, do you want to answer? Nofri Yani?
Okay, thank you. Really glad to be here. So this is a important issue that I already mentioned about equality between men and women. So now, after my study last year about indigenous food system, this is a big lack of the youth in West Sumatra. We still have our land, but the problem is really complicated because talking about food, it's not only what we produce in the farming area or agriculture system. So I just encourage youth, and then I make more volunteering, share my knowledge, and then have more time with them, listening. And then I also connected to the elders because I have a strong background in the field studies and then research assistant. So I just be like I create more event together between elders and youth. And then now that after the WEA, I learned a lot about technologies, and then also the COVID-19 impact to us. So I learned a lot about how to use technologies to connect us. And then with the farmers or elders, especially, I encourage also all the other organization that working with the community empowerment, and then reach them with the knowledge that I have. So this is what I done, and then in the future we will make a what we call it. I learned from Kampus Tanpa Dinding from our friend in NTT, Beatrice. So I will open the how to create a school that all the elders in the village will be the mentors to the youth in their community. So it's really more practical activities in good agrobiodiversity learning and then sharing. And then we also a lot local wisdom, like Fanny mentioned. I also collaborate with Fanny. Fanny focus for harimau or tiger, and then I go to the food sovereignty. That's it. I make this position for me. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have a question from Emma. Emma, would you like to ask your question?
Sure. Thank you so much. This was so inspiring. I just so loved watching those videos. But I was wondering for Ellena what the connections are between conserving bats and studying that really incredible science and engaging with and working with Indigenous communities.
Hello. Hi, Emma. Thank you for the question. So the connection is when we protect the bats biodiversity, we also protect the food resilience surrounding the indigenous communities because of the bats' roles in our ecosystem. And also bats and other animals, maintaining the balance of our ecosystem, it's prevent the indigenous communities and also other communities for the new hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we can.
Yep. That's it for me, Emma.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions tonight? Oh, Amira.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so inspired by this evening. And Novi, my sons and I are curious, what are some of the ways that you're connected with tigers? And how do you engage with tigers in a safe way? And I was wondering if you might have any stories to share about that.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Amira. I want to try to explain to your sons. Hello, maybe you can tell your sons' names both.
What's your name?
Sammy. And me, Noah.
And?
Sammy.
Noah and Sammy. You're very interesting with the tiger, right? Yeah. With this program, I want to try to introduce about how to protect the tiger from the local people knowledge, because same as Nofri Yani, as the indigenous people in West Sumatra, we have much knowledge about how to protect the tiger, the forest, and our food system. With the indigenous people knowledge in Minangkabau, we have the story about we can hear the story from our mother, our grandmother in West Sumatra about we have to respect to the tiger with the always respect with the trees, with our land, with our farm, and then we have to learn to the all people in the village about forest, about farmer, about farming, and then about land. And the story like this, I will collect, and we will make we will produce this knowledge to the movie, to the book, maybe to the video, and then we will share to the children like Noah and Sam in the school, by the school visit, by the community visit, and by tourism visit, and much more. Let everybody in the other area know about our story to protect the tiger from the indigenous people's knowledge. Maybe that's all I can explain about the Sumatran tiger. And maybe you can come to the West Sumatra to see a tiger, Noah or Sam. Thank you, Amira.
To say thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to come see the tigers one day for sure.
You're
Thank
welcome. Thank you.
I notice there's also a question from Kame. So I would like to invite you, Kame, to ask the questions out loud.
Sure, thank you. This has been wonderful. It's really, really amazing to hear from everybody. And, you know, clearly the networking and the supportive environment that you've gotten from the Accelerator is a really important aspect of this. I really believe in bringing women together and supporting each other. But I'm also curious about the very technical skills that you were also, learned about through the Accelerator. And I was wondering if a couple women from the cohort could sort of explain which technical skills or learning was the most important, and why was that so important for you to be successful moving forward?
In the interest of inviting the woman to answer, I'm gonna try to translate quickly verbally. Jadi tadi pertanyaannya Kim adalah apakah skill teknis yang kalian dapatkan dari program akselerasi ini? Adakah yang mau menjawab? Kalau ada yang mau menjawab, mohon angkat tangan. Iya, silakan. Kak Yani, mungkin beberapa bisa turut menjawab. Kak Yani, lalu siapa lagi? Kak Swima. Lalu saya juga mau mengajak Kak Adolfina untuk ikut menjawab pertanyaan ini. Jadi
Iya, saya siap.
Kak Yani dulu.
Saya siap.
Okay, I got this is like the strategic and then impact, and strategic plan. It's really most skill that I got from I got a lot, how to connect, how to collaborate. Even we are online system now because facing COVID. And then it's really big change for me, improve my skill also. And then especially for the counting the impact, it's really amazing. We work a lot, but we never know how the big impact that we have done. So in the future, also because I try to apply some grant before, or just apply for the, also for the woman at Alliance form, I learn a lot, like how impact that I can contribute after this accelerator. So I try to make it, but after this accelerator, I can improve it for better impact. So I can, now I'm stronger. If they said, what you want to do, I want to do maybe like encourage youth in food, local food, and then knowledge, and then what the impact that you can deliver. And for sure, I apply one grant last month. Last month to check Mbazi. I can make a proposal for the digital platform. It's my first proposal. So it will be digital library for local food and nutrition. And then it's clear, easier to work after I got this train from Accelerator. Thank you very much.
Silakan Kak Swima. Please, Swima, take the floor to answer the question.
Okay, for me, to make a strategic and planning is very difficult for me. And then with where I can do, but I know I must go slowly. But thanks to where make my planning better than before. For me as a biodiversity or ecologist, we never thinking about this. We never thinking about the strategic, never thinking about the plan. And now we can spread all project with other donor. So we can memilah-milah, we spirited the project well now. Okay.
Thank you, Kak Swima. And I would like to invite Kak Adolfina to share.
Iya, terima kasih banyak. Kalau dari saya sangat membantu program akselerasi ini karena di sini saya mengenal banyak jejaring nasional maupun internasional. Karena saya perlu mengkampanyekan persoalan ini yang saya berjuang selama 8 tahun dengan teman-teman saya. Dan yang kedua itu saya sangat dibantu ketika saya bisa pemetaan aktor ya. Pemetaan aktor itu selama ini ternyata siapa yang saya hadapi, saya harus kemana. Jadi di situ ada perubahan strategi. Saya tidak harus ke perusahaan, tapi mungkin bisa masuk di pemerintah. Ini ada penyadaran-penyadaran dan juga gaya kepemimpinan itu sendiri tadi saya sudah jelaskan bahwa itu juga sangat membantu. Oh, saya ada di unsur yang mana, di air, api, ini sangat mengenali saya. Apakah saya selama ini melihat persoalan emosi dan jalan ini membantu saya begitu. Dan saya memang jujur bahwa hari ini saya mengenal adanya program SGD itu lewat program WA, dan itu suatu kebanggaan untuk saya yang selama ini saya tidak tahu begitu. Dan juga cara menyusun proposal hibah untuk going internasional ini beda. Ini sangat membantu juga oleh teman-teman yang ada di sini. Dan satu hal yang saya sadar bahwa saya masih berjuang selama 8 tahun dan saya dengan teman-teman lain bahwa saya belum buat apa-apa untuk masyarakat hari ini yang korban di bawah di 23 kampung, 3 distrik itu. Dan saya harus melakukan sesuatu dengan bantuan yang kemarin yang mau diberikan oleh WA kemarin yang kami sudah buat. Begitu, terima kasih.
Thank you, Kak Adolfina. Again, a big round of applause. And now, I know there's more questions now popping up in everyone's.
Sorry, Wiza, to cut you. Can you translate that a little bit because it's very important
okay.
for.
Okay, just a quick translation. Essentially, Adolfina mentioned that she have learned a lot of skill throughout this accelerator program. She learned about SDGs. She learn about actor mapping and the practical implications on doing her advocacy. So not only always attacking companies that are polluting the areas where she worked, but also finding a way around that. So that those components and those ability to see her leadership style and to see how things could work differently has been extremely helpful. But now I will be handing over the floor to our Indonesia Program Director, Kak Irma.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here to connect with our amazing Indigenous women leaders from Indonesia. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. They are actually part of a bigger cohort, as Melinda mentioned before, in our Grassroots Accelerator program this year. We have 27 women leaders from 16 provinces across Indonesia, and we've gathered for 4 months to connect, to learn with one another, to support each other, so that we can scale their work on the ground further. So later on, maybe tomorrow, the WIA team will also make sure that you receive their contact via email so that you can also connect with them to support them further. There are many plans for us that we've created and we've planned together for them. We also know that there are a lot of needs that we have to cover for them as well. This means that there will be more opportunities for you and for everyone in your network to support us as well in the future. One exciting news that I can share to you on behalf of our design team here is that we are going to launch the 3rd Grassroots Accelerator program next year, early 2021. So far, we've selected 21 women leaders. We can't wait to connect them more with you and also to connect you all with our growing circle as well. There will be a list of things that we can share with you moving forward on how you can actually connect and support them further. Thank you so much for coming here once again, and I'm going to give this space back to Wiza. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irma, for sharing your wisdom with us. Now, before we close, I would like to invite the woman to share about one species. I know there's a lot of species that we would like to protect and we love, but one species that we are most passionate about. Anyone want to volunteer? Please unmute yourself. I see Kak Irma mentioned on the chat box, Manta Ray. I love Manta Ray too. And while we are waiting, I would like to thank everyone for coming and joining this call. I know we have gone a little bit over time. There will be more events like this in the future. Leatherback sea turtles, whales and dolphins. And while we're waiting for everyone to mention their favorite species, I'd like to invite Kia to display the information for the next event. So this is the next event would be permaculture for families, as there is no waste in nature. And I want to thank everyone for joining and apologize for my imperfect hosting. Always a little bit nervous to host event like this, no matter how many times I did it. But thank you all for being so understanding and supportive throughout this whole process.
Thank you. Let's all unmute and give a big applause and make some noise for the women conservation leaders.
Yay! Say thank you.
Everyone. Have a great night, everyone.
Fantastic job, everybody.
See you next time.
Terima kasih banyak atas semuanya.
Terima kasih banyak.
Dari hatiku kepada hatimu.
Terima kasih.
Foto bareng ada nggak foto bareng?